Hi viewers, today let's talk about the modified widman flap or the open flap curettage. In the last video, I have discussed about the original widman flap, and the main aim of the original widman flap was the pocket elimination. Here the aim is, or the more focus is for the pocket reduction. Let's see how the procedure goes. In this, the one more thing I wanted to tell you that in the original widman flap, we have given the vertical incision, two vertical releasing incision, but in this technique, we are not going to remove the vertical incision, but we are going to remove some other incision. So first, let's start with the incision. And here we have to give first the submarginal incision. That means at least 0.5 to 1 mm away from the gingival margin. So here we are not going to cut more amount. We are going to remove minimally. So 0.5 to 1 mm away from the gingival margin, so as to eliminate the diseased epithelium and connective tissue and achieve the thin flap margins. So if thin flap margins are there, means we can easily adapt it, the flap against the root and the bone surface. So first we can give that, and if the tissue is thin, if the flap margin or if the tissue is thin, we can skip the first submarginal incision and we can directly go to the second and third incision. And let's start the incision first. So first we have to give the submarginal incision, that means 0.5 to 1 mm away from the gingival margin. So we have to give, this is also internal bevel, so we can give like this, and also like this. See, we have given the, in this cast I cannot do very clearly, so we can do like this. So this is, so first we have given the submarginal incision, and after that, so now this soft tissue collar is meant to be eliminated, so it has to separate or detach it from the root and also from the bony connection. So first, then after that we have to give the clavicular or the sulcular incision to separate it from the root. So next we can give, I think you can see well, next we can give the clavicular or the sulcular incision. Okay, so now we have given the clavicular or sulcular. So now the two incision are over. See, these two incision are for submarginal and also the clavicular incision, and then now we need to separate it from the bone surface. So for that we have to give the interdental incision. See, interdentally we can give the incision, and now we can separate, and after that we have to reflect the flap. So we need to, and before that we can remove this area. So we have removed, see, we have removed this area. Okay, so now we removed this part. Then we need to open the, elevate or reflect the flap. So now we can do the flap reflection. Now we can work on the area. Then we need to do the thorough root surface debridement like this, scaling and root planing. And now the flap margins are already thin with our incision, so flap adaptation is not a problem. So bone recontouring is not needed unless it interrupts with the flap adaptation. So without bone recontouring we can adapt this flap well. And then here we are not going to do any repositioning, we are going to place it back to the original position. So we can place this back to the original position and then we can suture it. So this is the, so we can place it back and then we can suture it. So this is about, and then we can remove the suture and dressing after 1 week. So this is the modified widman flap, because we have removed very minimal amount of tissue. So let's see how we can differentiate it from the old widman flap. First I told that the vertical incision are missing, we are not going to give any vertical incision. And then the submarginal internal bevel incision here are very near to the crest of the margin, that allow only minimum tissue removal. We are not going to cut more tissue, that is the other difference. And then the other difference is the bone recontouring is not done unless the flap adaptation is problematic with these bony contours. So here bone recontouring is not a must. And then we are not going to give any radical approach, and the flap margins are positioned back to its original level. So these are the difference. This is the difference with the old widman flap. So this is the other difference is that the aim of the original widman flap was the pocket elimination. Here the aim is the pocket reduction. So this is about the modified widman flap. I think you are clear with this topic, and thank you.